Hi, I'm Hunter from ScreenFeed. Today we're going to take a look at an automatically updating donor wall from Excel Online. There are a few things that we're going to need for this project, and the first thing is a screen. It can be a smart TV, a not so smart TV, it can be a projector, it can be a video wall, an LED board, just some way to display your digital content. The second thing that we're going to need is a player, so some way to manage the playback of the app that we're about to build. This can be a dedicated player like an Android box or a BrightSign unit, or it can be something as simple as maybe an app on the smart TV. The third thing that we're going to need is Connect from ScreenFeed. This is the platform that we're going to use to build out the visual representation of the donor wall. It also allows us to connect and pull data from Excel Online. To get ScreenFeed Connect, which is where we're going to build out this donor wall and how it looks and how we can have the data be automatically updating, we're going to go to screenfeed.com. And we can go to Services and choose Connect. From Connect, if we scroll down, you can watch this nice video, see more information about it, or you can just scroll down to where it says Try Connect. When you click Try Connect, if you have an account, it will launch you into your account with ScreenFeed. If you don't have an account, it'll ask you to set up an account, but you will see under this My Apps section, either you don't have any apps, or if you've been in Connect before, you might see some other things that have been created. What we won't do is click New App, because this will give us a blank app builder canvas. We are going to instead, on the left, go to Templates. And from here, we can scroll or search. I'm just going to put in donor. There is a donor wall template that we'll be using for this project. I'm going to select donor wall, and you can see that it's 1920 by 1080, and that the template has vertical tiers. That works for what we want to do. I'm going to click Create App from Template, and it will launch me right into the app builder, create an app, and launch me into the app builder interface, which might look familiar to you. You might have other software that you use where you can drag and drop and edit how things look. So from here, we have our data laid out. What we will do is go to Data and Manage. And you can see this is our data structure, right? One column for the amount, the gift that they've contributed, and then one column for the names of the contributors. What you can do, if you don't already have a data source that has a column for each of those items, you can click Export and export as a CSV. Then from Microsoft, we can go to a blank workbook. I've got my CSV open right here. I'm going to select all of that, click Copy, and paste. We'll go to the name of our file, and we're going to call this donor wall. Easy enough. Now, when I make a connection, if any number changes or any name changes, it will automatically update in Connect. So I can share this with whomever might be in charge of putting in that information, and they never have to touch the design interface or the app. So what I'll do is go back to Connect, and we'll close. We're going to click Replace Data Source, and now we're going to connect it to this Excel spreadsheet that's saved online. So I'm going to go to Microsoft Excel Workbook. That's what it's in. I'm going to choose Hunter at ScreenFeed. That's my user. And I'm going to put in donor. Now, if you haven't signed in before, you can sign in with Microsoft. It uses the Microsoft identity sign in. So put in your password, and it won't show because I've already approved it, but it will ask for specific access to read your files. We're going to search for donor. All right, so here's my donor wall, XLSX. I'm going to click continue. And what we'll see here is it asks some information, right? It notices what column type I'm using. It's saying the gift is automatically a number. That's fine. Contributor is text and a name. We'll click continue, and it asks how often do you want to synchronize this data? Every 15 minutes is fine, and we'll click continue. So here it's going to say, because I chose to replace data, what do you want, what item do you want to replace on the template? So I have gift, I'm going to replace that with gift. Contributor, I'm going to replace that with contributor, and we'll hit continue. Now if I hit close, we'll go here. I have it filtered that the gift in the column is greater than 7,500. So we're going to hit save changes, and now I'm seeing the names again. You'll have to do this for each one of your tiers. Now if we go up here, I can change the name, for example, of the Diamond Club to the Ultimate Club, whatever the name is. And I can adjust things like my logo. So if I go to my photos, I can upload a photo. I'm going to go to my device. This is pulling from my computer, upload, and I'm going to grab a logo. Maybe, yeah, here we go. So here's my SF logo, and I'll upload that, and it puts it on the screen. But there's a little trick. We're going to get rid of this, and we'll grab our SF logo and just drag it on top of where it says your logo. Now it's got a little bit of a cropping issue, so I'm going to switch it on the right from fill to fit. From here, I can change the name of our institution. So we're going to say this is the Sign Force Program for the Arts. And under the donor program name, we'll say, Program for the Arts. Here we go. So now that I have that configured, I've put in my data, I've updated my club information, I've set my filters for each one of these, and I can go here and say, whether or not I want that data to animate or not. I can say publish. Now, if you do not have a paid version of Connect, this is where it will ask you to pay for Connect when you hit publish. You can always preview it, even if you don't have a paid version, but when you hit publish, that is where you will have to decide whether or not you want to move forward. But you can watch the rest of this video and get an idea of how you want to operate. So if we go here to Get App, we're going to copy this URL, and you can also download it as a bundle for Signage Live specifically. That just puts it in a widget framework, and you can upload it as a media asset. So we'll do that. We'll show you that way too. It looks like our download is ready, so we're going to click to download that widget. And we'll go to a tab I have open for signagelive.com. Click on login. And we'll log in with our credentials. Once you're logged in, there are two ways to get the software on your hardware, on your BrightSign player. The first way is to click here and say downloads. This will give you a nice little articles on how to install it on various media players. Or you can go to network and manage and hit the plus and hit player, and here you can just pick, right? So they have things like Amazon Signage Stick, BrightSign, that's the one we're going to pick for this video, and others. So I'm going to click on BrightSign. I'm going to select my player model. I've got a Series 5 that I'm showing you on. And we're going to say next. We've already, it's going to say, would you like to enter a new license? I'm going to select a license that hasn't been activated yet and hit next. We'll hit next again. And then we'll ask about an activation code. So I showed you previously this downloads page. This will get you the software. So if we go to configure BrightSign, we want Series 5. And there's two things to do. The first thing is to set up a configuration, and then there's download the firmware. So the firmware will download in a zip file. I've done it a few times. As you can see, there's a 7 there. And then if you go to the config generator, this is things like your time zone, whether you want audio enabled, whether it's landscape or portrait, is it a Series 5 device, and other options there. Once you have this set how you want it to look, click generate. And then network. If you have a static network instead of using our dynamic networking, you can adjust that there, including things like DNS, Wi-Fi versus Ethernet connection, and generate that as well. So that'll generate 2 files, network and settings. If we go to our package file, we will take this networks and settings. As you can see, I've done it a few times, and that will be put into data. Then you can take all the contents of this zip file and put it into your SD card that's connected to the computer. All right, so here we have a BrightSign. It's the BrightSign HD 225. It's their latest series, middle of the road version. And if we look here, we've got our power, we've got our HDMI out to the TV, we've got a micro SD card slot, and network. Now it does also have antenna options and a GP and some other ports, but we're going to be using these today. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to get it plugged into power. So the power cord looks like this. It's got a brick. If you're not in the US, you can swap out the plug. So it's rated for your outlet, and the other end looks like that. We're going to plug that into the power source here, and we'll plug our other end into the BrightSign unit. All right, now we have our micro SD card that will go in the SD card slot. The BrightSign does come with a little rubber protector that you can put on the outside if you want. It does stay in there without it. We also have our HDMI and our network. So let's get our network connected. This is how we're going to communicate with the device. There we go. And then we need our last thing, which is our HDMI out to the TV. So we'll take our HDMI, we'll plug it in, and the other end will go to the television. So there we are. There's our BrightSign unit all ready. On the screen, we'll see some information about adopting the BrightSign unit. When the player starts up, you should see a activation code that you can put in and click add player. So once you put the code in and click add player, you will see in your network your player. So this is my BrightSign. It's saying it's downloaded content, a bunch of information, and now I can go to put the content on my screen. So as I mentioned before, there's 2 ways to publish your content to a screen. The first way is to copy the URL. Go to Get App after you've published and copy the URL. This gives you a URL, HTML URL that you can put into a browser to see what it looks like, but also you can play it back in Signage Live by going to Content, Playlists, Create, hit the plus, and we're going to say web page. Name it what you will, put the URL in, and we'll call this donor wall. Now we click save. So that's the first way. I've got my donor wall right here. I can add this to a playlist by clicking on it, dragging it in, and I can set properties like how long I want to play by saying duration. Let's say for let's do for 1 minute. Now you can do 5 minutes, you can do however you want. If you're not breaking it up, you can just leave this as the only thing in the playlist. Let's save this. We'll call this Donor Wall Playlist. We're saving that playlist by hitting that save button. And now it's asking, are you ready to publish it? Well, we are. We're going to say publish. And we'll say we want to publish this to our player. So we're going to select our player. We've got our bright sign right here. I'm going to click OK. And now we can say publish to players. And we've got a little notification up here, publication complete. Before we go to show you what it looks like on the screen, let's go back to Connect because there's a second way to do this, which is downloading as a bundle. Now, there are a few things that you should know when choosing download as a bundle. One, it provides you a zip file in what's called a widget framework, or WGT. Now this file is a self-contained HTML site, basically. But this does still update. So as you make changes to your data source, it will still update and look for updates for those names and donations and filters. What it will not do is update the design going forward. So if I wanted to publish this with a new design, let's say changing of the color, for example, or changing of the logo, I would need to republish, go to Get App, and download the bundle and go through this process again. The advantage of this is that it provides a more stable application if for whatever reason the network internet network for your player is not good, maybe it goes up and down, this will always have something available to show. Whereas if you're using the copy URL, it does depend very heavily on your internet connectivity being good. So we've got this downloaded. We're going to go to Signage Live again. We'll go to content, same place as before. And if we hit the plus, instead of web page for that widget, we're going to choose media asset. And we're going to click to drop files, or click to select files. We've got our donor wall. I'm going to hit click open. And now it's going to say, yes, wait to upload until I say I have permission to use this asset. So yes, I made it, I have permission. So now it's going to upload the asset, and once it's done, it can be put into a playlist just like the donor wall web page URL. So here it is the widget. I can select it and just drag it into the playlist and publish in the exact same fashion. So that's it. There's my donor wall. It's all set up. I can see the names are flowing right now. If I don't necessarily want the animation to happen, or maybe I want to change a color or something, I can go into Connect and make those changes in App Builder. Once I hit the publish button in the top corner, I will see those changes show up on my screen. I don't need to go back through the process of copying the URL and putting it into a playlist and publishing it to the screen and saying, okay, all I have to do is change it in Connect and hit publish, and it will show up automatically in that form factor on my screen. I hope you enjoyed this video. We have other videos that talk about how to use Connect in different scenarios, and also videos about our other products that ScreenFeed has to offer, things like infotainment, news, weather, sports, and social media. If you're interested in Signage Live, it's signagelive.com. They have a lot of good information on their website about how best to use their products, and they work really well with ScreenFeed products as well. So once again, I'm Hunter from ScreenFeed, and we'll see you next time.